Star Wars is known for many things. The mysticism of the Force, heroes like Luke and Leia, the pure evil of Palpatine, lightsaber duels, diverse, highly stylized worlds, but perhaps some of the most loved elements of Star Wars are its ships. From the Millennium Falcon to the Death Star to the escape pod that launched R2-D2 and C-3PO on their journey to meet Luke for the first time, each ship has played an integral role in how this story from a galaxy far, far away has unfolded. While each vessel has its own story, perhaps none is more interesting and controversial, while at the same time as brief, as that of Slave One, aka Boba Fett's Starship. Journey with us now as we build LEGO's Boba Fett Starship set and explore the tale of this fabled craft on this episode of The Brick Historic.
We're looking for the actual Boba here, huh?
Yep. Always start with the guy. Much of the story and meaning behind Slave One is derived from its owner, Boba Fett. Boba Fett is the son of Jango Fett, a Mandalorian bounty hunter. Jango was contracted by cloners from Kamino to be the basis for a clone army. As part of that contract, he demanded one unaltered clone be created to be his son, who he named Boba. While Jango was the seed for the clone army, he found himself aligned with Count Dooku and the droid army in a battle against the Jedi. During that conflict, Jango was killed by Jedi Master Windu as a young Boba looked on. Boba sought revenge against Windu for the death of his father, but only found himself imprisoned for his efforts, and that's the last we see of Boba Fett until the Empire came calling. As Darth Vader was chasing the Millennium Falcon in an attempt to find Luke Skywalker, he hired bounty hunters to track down the Falcon and its crew. These bounty hunters included Boba Fett, who was already hired by Jabba the Hutt to bring in the ship's owner, Han Solo. Boba successfully tracked the Falcon and led Darth Vader to Cloud City to capture them. As his reward, Boba was allowed by Vader to take Solo, now frozen in carbonite, to Jabba to collect his bounty. It was on Tatooine, after presenting Jabba with his prize, where Boba met his apparent fate. During a daring attempt by Luke Skywalker to rescue Han and Leia from Jabba the Hutt, Boba fell into the mouth of the Sarlacc, a creature that slowly digests its victims over the course of 1,000 years. By all accounts, he was gone. This was not the actual case, however. Boba Fett blasted and clawed his way out of the Sarlacc, and was thereafter taken captive by a group of Tuskens. Originally their prisoner, Boba eventually gained their trust and learned their ways, changing his path and destiny from a brutal, bitter bounty hunter into someone perhaps more balanced and loyal. While there are more expansive tales of Slave One told through the books of the expanded universe, the actual screen time for this vessel is somewhat limited when compared to other craft. Following the chronology of the universe rather than the actual order of the movies, Slave One makes his first appearance when Obi-Wan Kenobi visited Kamino. While there, he was introduced to Jango Fett and his son Boba. Kenobi was suspicious of Jango, and sensing this, Jango fled with his son to the landing pad where Slave One was waiting. It was there where we saw the ship in its first action as the two boarded and escaped. Kenobi placed a tracker on the ship, however, and followed them to an asteroid field. In that field, Jango used seismic charges to seemingly destroy Kenobi's ship. This sadly was the last time Jango would be the master of this craft. After Jango's death, Slave One became the property of his son Boba, and was next seen on screen while tracking the Millennium Falcon. While Slave One was not involved in battle during this time, it is remembered as the ship that delivered a frozen Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt. After his time with the Tuskens, Boba again used his ship in support of the Mandalorian's quest to protect Grogu and deliver him to the Jedi. As stated earlier, the visually recorded battle time of Slave One is limited, but in a way that only adds to the lore. What little we do see of the ship in battle is devastating, as its seismic charges rip through entire asteroids, let alone other ships. Slave One itself is dark and mysterious, though we know from Han being taken away that its main purpose is to ferry prisoners off to very bad places. In the end, what we know for sure is that unless you are a friend of Boba Fett, Slave One is the last vessel you would ever want to board. In the summer of 2021, political correctness paid a visit to Slave One. As Western society continues its move to eliminate the use of words it finds problematic, the name Slave One was apparently being dropped as the very Lego set we are building in this video was marketed with the name Boba Fett Starship. While no official announcement seems to have been made, reports of the name being dropped in other materials, marketing, and attractions are easy to find. There has also been a comic release that shows the name of the ship written in Galactic Basic as Fire Spray, which is a reference to the actual model of the ship. This seems to be the most official reference of Disney's desire to eliminate the name Slave One from future materials. Many loyal and longtime Star Wars fans have taken objection to this change, while others have applauded Disney for phasing out the name. Building the Slave One Lego set was a real joy. It was not always clear what parts of the ship were being constructed until those sections were done, but that added to the surprise. It was also an excellent opportunity to reflect on this ship's place in the Star Wars universe. In a world that's so extensive and vast, with so many ships making so many more appearances, it's striking that Slave One, with its relatively small amount of screen time, got the honor of having its own dedicated set, even if it was under a changed name. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Brick Historic. If you've not already done so, please do consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the notification bell so you can be alerted to new episodes. May the Force be with you, and thank you for watching.